Hey there! Today we'll be talking about a pen that was lent to me by a fellow reviewer, and this is not a pen that I have the box of, so I don't know what box it came in, but I will talk about the pen. And this is a Gate City pen. I know that Gate City is associated with Richard Binder, the nib meister and pen repairman. I was always assuming that he makes these pens, or at least is involved in making them, but I'm not entirely sure. This is the Gate City pen, the Ready Fill. A very interesting pen because of the filling mechanism. Let's talk about the pen. I'll discuss the parts of the pen, tell what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then I'll do a writing sample. We start with the finial. Right on top of the cap, there's nothing. There's no diamond or jewel or whatever. Same material as the pen cap, and I do like that. I always hate it when a finial is a different material. Here we have the clip, and the cool thing about the clip is that you can remove it. It's a sort of the same system that Kaweco Sport pens use. You can remove it. If you don't like a clip pen, you can just take it off. You have two small holes to make sure that there is no vacuum inside your pen. You see one of the holes right there, one on either side of the cap, and then you have the barrel made of the same material as the cap, clearly, and here you have that ready fill contraption. I will come back to that in a sec, but first I want to show you the nib. This is the nib unit, simple two-tone nib. It has the ominous words Iridium Point Germany on there, but I have had no issues with this pen, how it writes. Iridium Point Germany is not necessarily a bad thing, right? It's the way how a nib is tuned, and they come from Richard Binder. I have one nib that was binderized by him at the DC Pen Show. The man knows what he's doing. So you can rest assured, if you buy this, even if it says Iridium Point Germany, you're going to get a nib that writes just fine. No issues. This is a broad, and that's pretty much it. Now, what makes this pen so fascinating? Well, first of all, this is the Clair de Lune finish, and I really like that material. I really think it's a nice, deep blue. I love it. I love it. But what makes it really special is the way you fill this. The Ready Fill Pen Company developed this, patented this, but this is a modern incarnation of that filling system, and it's very, very cool, I think, because you don't see it that much. You have this weird thing that's around your pen, and that's how you fill it. So you may think, well, how does that work? Well, what you do is you rotate that, and what you reveal is a little pressure bar and a sac. So you put this in an ink bottle, nib first, and then you can just hold it. It's very pleasant to hold. You can just put your thumb on there. It was also known as a thumb filler for that very reason. Put in the ink bottle, and you squeeze it with your thumb, and you press that bar, and that bar, I have fairly large fingers, so I really have to stick my thumb in there. The pressure bar compresses the sac, and then you let go of it. The sac is decompressed, and then it draws up ink. You do that a couple of times, and then you should have a good amount of ink in there. Very simple, very effective, and it works, and you cannot accidentally, when you're writing, touch that bar and just squirt ink all over your page, because once you're done, you screw that thing back in place, and the ink filling system is completely blocked off. Superb. Very simple, very effective. Why make things complicated when you can do it in such an effective manner? Okay, what do I like about the pen? What do I not like about the pen? Well, for me personally, the pen is on the small side. This is not a big pen, so I personally would prefer a somewhat bigger model, but of course that's a matter of taste. And yes, it does post. When it posts, you really get a decent size that is not top heavy because it's a fairly light material, so that's quite cool. I like that. The removable clip, I both love and hate. I love it because if you don't like a pen clipped, then it's a very easy way to get it off. But if you do like it clipped, I'm not sure whether this is the most aesthetically pleasing thing I've ever seen. But hey, it'll get the job done. And again, if you don't like it, take it off, which is probably how I would use this pen. Okay, what about this ready fill rotating system? Does it get in the way of writing? Well, for me, it doesn't, because I have fairly large hands, and as you can see, I don't really touch that plastic thing as I hold it to write. But maybe if you have smaller hands, that could press down on your thumb or something. For me, it's not an issue, and yes, let me see, it is hexagonal, but I don't think the edges are very sharp. It's plastic, it's not metal, so I don't think it will really cut into your skin. So in all, I think this is a pretty nifty pen, and I can imagine you would like to see a writing sample. So that's what we're going to do next, but before we do that, we'll take a couple of measurements. I get about 20 grams, a little over 15, I think. Lengthwise, as I said, not the biggest pen. Capped, it's 126 millimeters, and uncapped, it's 121. Section diameter at the narrowest point, I get 10 millimeters, and at the widest point, which is flush with the barrel, I get about 11 millimeters, just a little under 11 millimeters. So that rounds it up. I think we want to see that pen in action. That's what we're going to do next. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, writing with the Gate City Pens Ready Fill. So this is the broad nib, and the first thing I noticed when I was writing with it for the first time is that it is really, really nice. I love the way this pen performs. It's nice, very juicy, performs very well, very, very smooth. I absolutely love this Nibs Performance. So this is an excellent example of seeing that iridium point Germany really doesn't mean a nib is bad. It depends on how it's ground, and Richard Binder did an excellent job in tuning this, I'm sure. So that's all very good. You noticed just now, when I had been talking for a bit, it started up straight away. And a really well-tuned nib should do that. Of course, it can dry out a bit, but it should work. And as you can see, no skipping, no skidding, nothing. It works perfectly well. When it comes to wetness, look at this pen gush. I mean, that really is a lot of ink being laid on the page, nice and wet, a joy to use. Now when it comes to line variation, it is a steel nib, not supposed to flex, but as you can see, if you squeeze down on it a little bit, you will definitely get a bit of line variation out of it. Final thing I always do by request is some reverse writing, and as you can see, this pen can just do it. Yes, it's a bit scratchier than it is with the nib turned the way it should be turned, but it does work, and you actually get a line that I would say is a good fine instead of a broad, giving you two nibs for the price of one. And again, this nib being tuned as well as it is, it's very easy to use in this manner. It gives a nice flow. So very cool. I'm definitely a fan of this pen. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.